Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news and note smash up video today, starting with Frank Warren and his thoughts on a potential undisputed fight between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. So it does appear that there is some optimism and that there has been some good initial discussions about making a fight. Frank Warren going on to say, and I quote, "The fight is made. Both parties want it. So there's no big problem in getting this fight made. It's about where it takes place and how we satisfy the boxer's financial demands." And I guess that's really it, isn't it? Because, I'm sure Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk, for one of the biggest fights, if not the biggest fight in a generation in the heavyweight division, will want to be well compensated. I mean, Fury's been on the record just recently talking about needing a huge amount and people pulling out their checkbooks, and even prior to that talking about $500 million being the requirement. But if he really wants the fight, both these guys, they'll have to take significantly less than $500 million. There's not that sort of money in this fight. But it is still going to be a massive fight. And at least one of the hurdles seemingly is cleared, that both these sides are willing to work with each other. So you've got Oleksandr Usyk promoted by K2. So you've got Alexander Krasjuk having spoken about, hopefully these guys want to make it. We don't have any formal arrangement or agreement with Matchroom anymore. That's been all met and satisfied. We are available to make this fight. And my bet would be that they'll probably end up making it to be on ESPN, and obviously in the UK it would probably go to, you'd have to see. Maybe there will be a situation similar to this past weekend with Usyk and Joshua, where, say, a country might end up having some control over the rights. But then again, it took the Saudis a long time to lock in the global broadcast rights for Usyk and Joshua too, and there was 1 week off promotion. So you'd have to imagine that may have hurt things a little bit. I mean, maybe there's lessons to be learned there, but regardless, if they do end up making this fight, obviously this is like this unicorn that heavyweight boxing fans have been chasing after for a long time. We've been talking about it in the context of it getting made for the past 4 years straight. There's been different characters involved at different times, and obviously now seemingly we're close to it happening. But we shall see. The devil is in the detail, and money could end up scuppering it, or being the cause that it doesn't get made, I should say. Meanwhile, from one Fury to another, Hughie Fury's fight with Michael Hunter has been confirmed and rescheduled for October the 29th. Was meant to happen at the start of July, but Hughie Fury pulled out. Apparently he was ill. Full details of that have not been disclosed. But it's a good fight, and right now, the winner, and even the loser, if they put in a good performance, could be in line for some good fights. Remembering, you've got a screed of talent that is going to be in the ring in the coming months. You've got Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker fighting soon, Aslanbek Makhmudov, Carlos Takam, Deontay Wilder, Robert Helenius. We've just seen Usyk and Joshua. There's a good lineup of fights coming. Ortiz, Ruiz, can't forget that as well. And hopefully some more fights, and this is a good addition to that schedule. It's been a bit tough this year for heavyweight fans with the, we haven't got the fights as regularly as we have maybe from a few years ago, but the second half of the year looks like it's starting to pick up. And Michael Hunter, he has said on his social media of the confirmed date, "Can't hide behind your last name. #hunting season." Moving on, Filip Hrgovic has been warmly greeted back on his arrival to Croatia, having just won the IBF final eliminator on the Joshua Usyk 2 undercard against ZHANG ZHILEI, getting a decision there, and looks very happy to be home. And a couple other shots here, big cake, and also a lot of young children supporters wishing him well. So that's good to see. But the other side of the equation from that fight, ZHANG ZHILEI and his team not happy. And Sean George, his trainer, not happy with the scoring, saying this was an easy fight to score. I had it 115-112 for Zhilei, 7 rounds to 5, including the extra point for the knockdown. The judges should be investigated. Both ZHANG and Hrgovic gave great performances, but fair is fair, and this decision was not. ZHILEI deserved the win. He should be fighting for the world title next. So I guess in terms of the scoring, I've seen a number of differing opinions. My card, I had it 6 rounds apiece with the knockdown, so I had it 1 point to ZHANG, but 1 point either way. I mean, it was a pretty back and forth fight. I have seen some people say it was an easy fight to score for ZHANG, and some people saying it was an easy fight to score for Filip Hrgovic. At the end of the day, it's in the scorebooks now. Nothing that ZHANG can do to get that one back, and Hrgovic, obviously, we've just seen him celebrating, maybe not wildly, but he looks pretty happy. Meanwhile, Daniel Dubois is targeting a potential fight with Dillian Whyte, and this has been rumoured in recent weeks. Dillian Whyte has been just in recent days on social media calling for the Joshua rematch, saying he hasn't got a fight locked in. But you've got Daniel Dubois saying, I'm very excited about it. I really want to fight him. If that is the next one, then I'm all up for it. It's the next step in my career and the next step to big names and big fights. This is the fight that can take me to the next level with Dillian Whyte or any of those names. I need to fight him. I need to beat him. These guys are saying I'm a quitter. I want to get in the ring and show them how much of a quitter I am. Probably not the best way to word that. I want to make them quit. If they can make the fight happen, then make the fight happen. It's what I want now, just to shut them all up, and all the guys that have something to say, I'll deal with them. It's now or never. This is the prime of my life. And Daniel Dubois is still remarkably young. What is he? 23, 24 years old, whatever it is. Probably not in the prime just yet, but he has been developing and obviously coming back off that loss to Joe Joyce, a couple of years ago now. So, and that is the fight that he did take a knee, obviously when his eye was all banged up. Joe Joyce behind the jab, just putting a jab in his eye all night, did make him quit in the end. Speaking of Daniel Dubois, so there is some news on this whole not getting paid his purse from the Don King card where he fought Trevor Bryan. And there was a whole number of different bits and pieces that factored into it. It's pretty messy, all these different fees that he had to pay, that credit that was taken out. But there was also, and this is what I'm still interested to know, a so-called debt that Frank Warren owed Don King that King's people deducted from Daniel Dubois' purse. I mean, which is pretty dirty if they tried to do that and did do that. But his lawyer, who's been acting for Daniel Dubois in the United States, has stated, we have settled and Dubois will be paid in full. And that's it. And that's all he had to say. Moving on, so you've got Joseph Parker in his training camp for Joe Joyce, September the 24th. He's brought in some reinforcements for sparring. Martin Bakole pictured here next to Tyson Fury and Parker, and the Icelandic heavyweight Gunnar, Kolbeinn, Kristinsson. And Fury and Kristinsson, they're known to each other. Kristinsson trains out of the Kronk gym in Detroit, but also Fury did visit him last month when he was in Iceland, or should I say earlier this month. And Martin Bakole, of his post on the situation being in camp here, has hinted his next fight is inbound, saying back to work for the next one very soon. So what could that be? Would it be a rematch with Tony Yoka? That may have been built into the contract, or is he going to get something meaningful elsewhere? Because he's obviously made his way back from a 2018 loss to Michael Hunter. He's looked pretty good for the most part, and obviously a pretty impressive performance against Yoka last time out. It's really go time for him as well. He needs a good fight. Simon Kean has been confirmed to face Newfel Ouatah. That will be the opponent for his main event on September the 9th. So that card, Eye of the Tiger Management in Canada, that's a week before the Eye of the Tiger Management card for Aslan Bekmambetov versus Carlos Takam. Can't say I'm that enamored with this main event. Newfel Ouatah, French journeyman or gatekeeper, low-level gatekeeper. He's been banged out before. Junior Farr took him out, what was it, a round? Something like that. This is more careful matchmaking for Simon Kean, who still making his way back from a loss a few years ago, and last time out he was decked by Shaundell Winters, but got off the canvas and ended up putting on a pretty fun fight with Shaundell Winters. So this is one of the questions with Kean now, is he's kind of got this air of disaster about him, kind of like David Price used to have, that he can be in control and then the next minute the chin gives way and he's on the canvas. And rounding out this heavyweight news and notes mashup video, so the American heavyweight Antonio Zepeda, 5-0, he'll be back in the ring September 3rd in Las Vegas. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.